Casey Curtin here, owner of Sandler Training in Fresno, California. I wanted to take a second and talk to you about the attitude side of sales and business, and whether in management or leadership. So when we talk about attitude, when does attitude even start? Right? It starts first thing in the morning, right when you wake up. So when we look at the attitude piece, we look at our you side, what our body, mind, spirit. We look at our marketplace, what we think about our organization. And when attitude comes to mind, most people associate attitude with either being positive or negative. But let's define what positive means and having an outlook of possibility, and negative of having an outlook of limitation. So your attitude are both your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings, right? Or your preconceived notion on how things really are. In a sales environment, it's important that we're aware of our attitude when it's really towards your company, your marketplace, and what you think about yourself. Henry Ford had a quote that I love, and he says, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You really are right." Look at what we call the IR theory. I stands for identity and your R stands for role. So you can only perform in your role in a manner that is consistent with how you see yourself conceptually. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So we all have roles in life. We were all born and started to develop these roles as we got older. So we became a mother, we became a father, we became an employee, an employer, a sister, a brother, a husband. We have all these roles that we set expectations for ourselves. So when we have a bad day at work, or we have a bad sales day, or we're dealing with difficult customers or difficult employees, and we maybe didn't handle a situation properly or not as well as we could have. So what happens is we go home and we say, "Gosh, I had a really bad day." And sometimes when I'm down on myself, what I think about myself is I did really bad in my role, which means now I feel bad about myself. So if I were to rate myself as my identity in that moment and say, I'm at least, I don't know, a 6 or 7 because I had a really bad day and that's how I feel about myself right now, that's usually going to be consistent with how I performed in my role. What we teach in Sandler is separating your I and your R, separating your identity from your role. So your I is not who you are. For example, if I take that same situation and I said, I had a really bad day, maybe I didn't make quota, maybe I thought I was going to have a really big deal that was going to go through that didn't. And I go home and I say, I did everything I could. I still tried, and I have my identity scored high still because I understand that that was my role performance. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person or that I'm a bad employee or that I'm awful at my job. That just means I had a bad. But again, I want you to think about this. You can only perform in that role on how you see yourself conceptually. So if I continuously tell myself that, I didn't win today, but I didn't lose, so that's okay. What we say when you have a mindset like that, we call those at-leasters. Now, that's someone who will rate their identity between a 1 and a 10. They'll rate it anywhere between a 4, 5, and a 6. So if I constantly look at my identity as a 4, 5, and 6, I'm only going to be able to perform in my role either 3 up or 3 down of what I actually see my identity as. So if I see my identity as a 5, which is an at-leaster, I'm only going to be able to perform in my role at a 6, 7, or I'm going to perform at a 4, 3. So I'm always going to be in that. Think about it, you guys, when you wake up in the morning, what your mindset is, what your thought is. And your mind's a very powerful thing. So I encourage you to think about that. Think about how that's going to evolve in the morning if you wake up with a bad attitude and how things are going to change. I'll be bringing you more videos, and thanks for watching.